Are you anticipating getting a tax refund this year? If you are, I hope you're not just thinking of it like it's free money. I want to help you realize that it is more than that. It is an opportunity for you to reach your financial goals. So in today's video, that's what I want to help you see. I'm going to give you actionable tips and steps, things that you can do to make sure that you have a plan before that free money hits your bank account and you're tempted to spend it on things that you're going to probably regret later. Before you spend that money without a plan, let's discuss some great ways that you can use it wisely and enjoy some of it too. I'm Sarah, I'm a certified financial educator, and I made this channel, It's All His, to help you manage God's money, God's way for God's glory, because it all belongs to Him. So let's discuss your tax refund. When you get a tax refund, what's really happening there? What typically happens with a lot of tax refunds is you've just overpaid on your taxes. You've given the government more than you needed to, and after you've gone through and gotten all of your write-offs or your standard deduction and filled out that tax return, you realize that you've overpaid them. So essentially, you've just given the government an interest-free loan of your money that they're now going to hopefully give back to you. I say hopefully because many years ago, a much younger me, we lived in California and we were due back a state tax return, but because of a bunch of legislative mumbo jumbo and political stuff, they basically withheld our tax return for an extended period of time as a way to try to get certain votes to happen and to get the population upset. And that was when it hit us. Wait a minute, that's our money, we overpaid, and they can play games before they actually give it back to us, if they ever do give it back to us. And from that point on, we decided our goal was that we didn't want to get a tax refund. We thought our goal would be, if we get money back, we want it to be just a little bit back, or maybe we owe just a little bit. We don't want this giant tax bill, obviously, but why give our money for free to the government when we could be using that money and growing interest in a savings account, or investing it, or paying extra on our mortgage, or using it towards our own personal financial goals? That's always been our take on a tax refund. So maybe I can convince you that getting a tax refund isn't that great of a thing. It's maybe not even the most financially wise thing that you could be doing with the money that God's giving you. But if you are going to get one, let's talk about how you can make sure you are being wise with the money that you're now getting back from the government. First thing I would recommend that you do with a big chunk of money is, if you have any debt that isn't your mortgage, particularly your higher interest debts like credit card, pay off debt. Use that money to pay off that debt even quicker to get to that goal of being debt-free. I made a video about 2 types of debt repayment methods. You could check that out up here if you're interested. The wisest thing that you can do with that money is pay off debt. Debt entraps you. Debt keeps you from being free to use God's money in a way that most gives Him glory. The quicker you can get out of that kind of debt, the better, and any kind of a windfall of cash like a tax return is a great way to accelerate that process and get through that debt a lot more quickly. So if you've got the debt, take that money. Don't even think about spending it. Just pay off that debt. If you've got all of your debt paid off, maybe you still just have your mortgage left. And if one of your goals is to pay off your mortgage early, or maybe just a little bit early so that you can save a little bit on interest there, take that chunk and put it towards your mortgage. Or maybe you're at the stage where you want to build up an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses to protect yourself from getting back into debt. That chunk of money can be a great way to finish funding or boost the funding of that fully funded emergency fund. If you've got that high interest debt paid off and you've got your fully funded emergency fund, maybe think about taking that money and investing it. Have you hit the maximum limit for your investments this year in either your IRA or your 401k? Or maybe you're new to investing and you want to get started. That chunk of money might be a great way to get your foot in the investing door. Potentially, a chunk of that money or all of that money could be something that you use to fully fund some retirement accounts. Maybe you've got some big goals you're saving up for, like a down payment on a new house or a new car. Your tax refund could be a great way to boost that savings account too. Do you have sinking funds for things like Christmas or larger bills that you have to pay? Maybe your tax refund could be utilized for boosting or starting one of those sinking funds so that when that bill comes due or when Christmas comes around, you don't risk going into debt again. Another wise way you could use your tax refund is by taking things that you would normally pay for monthly and paying for them in full. Something like your car insurance, you can get savings if you pay in full maybe every 6 months or a year. Even littler bills that add up over time, like maybe a Prime membership, you can do the annual plan and pay in that one chunk as opposed to doing it monthly. Save yourself a little bit of money that way. So if you have a regular subscription or a regular bill that you do monthly and there's a savings that could be done by buying it annually or buying it in one big chunk, along those same lines, tax refund time could be a great time to buy some big ticket items with cash and not feel the temptation to do it on payments or use a credit card. I'm talking things like appliances, maybe some new furniture. If you know that you have a washing machine that's about to go out, maybe you take that money and you set it aside so that you'll have the money to pay for that washing machine in cash, just to avoid going into future debt. Another fun thing that you could do with some or all of that tax refund money is invest it in yourself, like starting a small business or a side hustle. Maybe you've had a really great idea, but you needed a little bit of capital to get it started. This could be a great time to use some of that money as an investment in your idea. Maybe this small business or side hustle will be able to actually increase your income stream. This could be a wonderful opportunity to take some of that and do some self-improvement, invest in yourself, invest in your dreams, invest in your plans. And speaking of self-improvement, maybe a chunk of that money could be used to take a class, get a certification, or join a gym. Using that money to further some goals that you have, and maybe even help increase your ability to be healthier or make more income. One of the first things my husband and I will do when we get a bigger windfall of cash is we look at something called our wish list. It's a shared wish list that we have on our phone that includes certain purchases we want to make, home improvement projects that we want to do, traveling that we might want to do. And what we'll do is we'll look over that list together and we'll decide, okay, which home project are we going to tackle? Or which vacation might we want to use this money to save for? Having a wish list is a good way to organize your ideas and your thoughts so that when you have an opportunity to spend a bigger chunk of money, you have a plan for it already. And you, especially if you're married, you are dreaming and thinking about those things together and you're on the same page. You are allowed to enjoy your money. God has given you that money to manage, and you're supposed to be faithful with it. You're supposed to be wise with it, and you're supposed to store it for His glory. But a part of that is that you're allowed to enjoy it too. You're allowed to enjoy His blessing. So what are some ways that you could use this money and just enjoy it? Maybe it's a family vacation, some type of investment. Maybe you're going to do what I think is one of the most fun things to do, and that's find a way to be really, really generous with this windfall. You don't have to take this big chunk of money and do one thing with it. Now, as I said earlier, if you're in debt, I would encourage you to get that money and throw it all at your debt. But if you don't have debt, if you've got your emergency fund, if you're investing and you're doing all the wise things, then you get to do some fun stuff with this money now. You can use it a little bit here for a fun vacation or a little bit here for some self-investment or self-improvement. You are allowed to enjoy your money, but don't forget to be generous with it too. This is a great opportunity to give a little bit more than you normally would to your church or to a ministry that is just close to your heart. Or maybe it's an opportunity to bless some friends and family members. This is a great way that you can go out and just see need where you have a little bit of extra money. And I can say this has been one of the most fun things that we like to do with a nice big chunk is to take that money right off the top and figure out how can we use this to bless others and to further the gospel and further the kingdom of God. Remember, it is all God's money anyway, so be wise, store it well, and if you want to see some more videos along those lines, click over here into this playlist and I will see you over there.